5 greatest heists of all time. Even if we don't condone them, most people are generally fascinated with heists. Movies like Ocean's 11 and The Sting glamorize these calculated criminal feats, and audiences around the world enjoy watching fictional characters escaping with huge piles of cash and jewelry. But sometimes, these elaborate crimes occur outside of the world of fiction. Today, we're looking at the 5 greatest heists of all time. Antwerp Diamond Heist. The Antwerp Diamond District is one of the most heavily secured places in the world, with billions of dollars of diamonds changing hands there every year. And it was there in 2003 that one gang of thieves pulled off one of the largest diamond heists in history. Now, even though most of the gang, known as the School of Turin, has since been arrested, the diamonds have never been retrieved. The robbery was led by Leonardo Notarbartolo, a small-time diamond dealer, tenant of the Diamond Center, and a thief responsible for many minor jewel robberies. Although police believe he was the robbery's mastermind, he claimed that he was contacted by an unidentified diamond dealer who recruited him for the crime. Notarbartolo said he was paid to take pictures of the vault's complex security system. From those pictures, the dealer constructed a full-sized replica of the vault. Notarbartolo states that the dealer set him up with a small gang of Italian jewel thieves, each with specific skills for the robbery. The police are not convinced of the truth of this anonymous diamond dealer. However, no proof has been found to support this claim. The thieves got through the 10 layers of security, previously thought to be impenetrable. They bypassed cameras, the combo dial, the keyed lock, magnetic sensors, the locked steel gate, light sensors, heat and motion sensors, and keypad disarming sensors. They used aluminum to trick the magnetic field and stripped plastic off the wires of the sensor circuits. Then they loaded up bags of diamonds and other jewels. It took 2 hours to get it all out of the building, but thanks to one gang member, things eventually fell apart. That man was Pietro Tavano, known as Speedy, and one of Notarbartolo's lifelong friends. Speedy couldn't handle the pressure. After unloading the loot into this car, he had to pull over because he was having a panic attack. Remarkably, not a single alarm went off. As security guards arrived on Monday morning, they realized that the thick steel door to the vault was open and 100 of the 189 safe deposit boxes had been raided, with some of the loot still on the floor. The world's only specialized diamond police, Patrick Pays and Agim de Breiker, phoned the vault's alarm company. "What is the status of the alarm?" they asked. "Fully functional," came the reply. However, authorities eventually found Notarbartolo by watching security footage. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Brazilian bank robbers. In 2017, Brazil's police arrested 16 men tunneling towards a vault containing 1 billion reais, or $318 million, and who were on the verge of pulling off the largest ever bank robbery in the country's history. Authorities swooped just before the alleged gang was able to use its impressively equipped tunnel to enter the safe at a Banco do Brasil branch in the country's financial capital. It would have been the world's biggest heist, said Police Chief Fabio Pinheiro Lopes on Globo TV. Police said work on the tunnel began 4 months ago, starting from a house several blocks from the bank. It had sophisticated supports, fans, and lights. The police believe Alcio Gomez Noriega was the ringleader of the operation. He is a 35-year-old man implicated in an attempted robbery of a security van in Paraguay. The court ruled the group be held in pre-trial detention. Though it's hard to believe, the group dug the tunnel by hand. They loaded the soil into sacks and carried it outside through an underground stormwater drain. To enter the tunnel, gang members descended a 2-meter ladder from one of the rooms in the rented house. The tunnel was about 1.5 meters high and was reinforced with iron beams and wood, and even wired with lights. The walls were lined with plastic garbage bags to reduce the dust. The tunnel was reportedly filled with food, water, special clothing, and digging tools. Police were probing whether the gang had the assistance of an engineer when building the tunnel, because the construction was so impressive. The tunnel renewed memories of a tunnel robbery 12 years ago when thieves made off with about $70 million. For the previous heist, diggers worked in shifts from 8 p.m. until 4 a.m., taking a break on weekends. The 3 gang members involved in that attempt were involved in 2 separate prison escapes using tunnels equipped with ventilation and lighting. $500 million cyber heist. Starting in 2009, cybercriminals from Eastern Europe infiltrated at least 100 banks in 30 countries, raking in as much as $1 billion in fraudulent transfers and hijacked ATM machines over a 2-year period. They did so with a mysterious Trojan called SpyEye. The attacker struck at Russian banks first, as well as those in Germany, China, and the United States. They got away with it initially, but soon authorities tracked them down and they were brought to justice. Alexander Androvich Panin, the inventor of SpyEye, who went by alias Grybodemon and Harderman Online, pleaded guilty to a court of conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud in January 2014 after reaching a deal with prosecutors. Prosecutor Stephen Grimberg said SpyEye, a preeminent piece of malware developed from 2010 to 2012, was used to infect more than 50 million computers, causing nearly $1 billion in damage to individuals and financial institutions around the world. A second man, Hamza Bendelaj, a 27-year-old Algerian known online as BX1, was sentenced to 15 years. Prosecutors said he sold versions of SpyEye online and used the malware to steal financial information. SpyEye was a type of Trojan virus that secretly implanted itself on victims' computers to steal sensitive information, including bank account credentials, credit card information, passwords, and PINs. And once it took over a computer, it allowed hackers to trick victims into surrendering personal information, including data grabbing and fake bank account pages. The information was relayed to a command and control center to be used to access victim accounts. Panin conspired with others to advertise SpyEye in online cybercrime forums and sold versions of the software at prices ranging from $500 to $10,000, FBI Special Agent Mark Ray testified. Panin was the architect of a pernicious malware known as SpyEye that infected computers worldwide. He commercialized the wholesale theft of financial and personal information, and now he's being held to account for his actions, U.S. Attorney Sally Yates stressed in a news release. Now, many police agencies don't have the skills to effectively track down and investigate cybercrime. Tracking down cybercriminals requires a very different skill set from traditional policing, which limits the ability of law enforcement to go after cybercriminals. It also takes resources and trained personnel, which are, in many cases, in very short supply, says Martin Rosler, Director of Threat Research at Trend Micro. France's heist of the century. French gangster Jacques Cassandre was in court in 2018 for a crime committed over 40 years ago. Police noticed the fact the Marseillais mafioso was the likely mastermind of the heist of the century after he was discovered to be the anonymous author of a book about the crime. On July 16, 1976, a group of criminals robbed a branch of Societe Generale, France's third largest bank, in the southern city of Nice. Using the tunnels underneath the city, the gang was able to partially destroy the floor beneath the bank's basement vault and gain access to the banknotes, jewelry, gold bars, and safety deposit boxes located within. According to the Societe Generale's own account of the incident, the brazen criminals spent the weekend taking their time going through the vault's contents, even taking the time and luxury to picnic using the depositor's silverware. He used a pen name, but investigators quickly concluded that the writer was Jacques Cassandre, a key mafia figure in Marseille, where he is now standing trial. He had assumed he was safe because the crime was too old to be prosecuted, but Cassandre is being charged with laundering the millions from the heist, a crime from which France has no statute of limitations. Police found the manuscript on Cassandre's computer, and his children later confessed that their father had often bragged about the robbery. He eventually admitted to orchestrating the intrinsically planned job that involved at least 6 people and 30 tanks of acetylene to fuel the welding torches used to cut into safes and safety deposit boxes. An inquiry found he had also bought furs worth tens of thousands of euros and had once provided a financial guarantee with 7 bars of gold. He has always said it was a novel, and I don't think a court can convict someone on the basis of a novel, a lawyer from Cassandre Frederic Monoret said Monday. But Cassandre and his family members are facing a series of questions on his business dealings, with prosecutors also alleging Social Security fraud and a real estate scam in Corsica. It's not his first time in court, having been arrested in the early 1970s when police broke up the French Connection heroin trade centered in Marseille. $1 million pharmacy robbery. Back in 2016, the owner of a super value pharmacy in Fort Worth, Texas, rang in the new year with a trashed business missing $1 million worth of pharmaceuticals. The general manager, Jane Lawbaum, said the pharmacy at 720 North Industrial Boulevard was broken into in the early hours of December 31st. The burglars took highly marketable drugs with a street value of up to $1 million, she said. Surveillance footage shows men clad in black crawling and trying to break into a safe. Spilled pill bottles and cough syrup can be seen in the footage, and what appears to be a safe with the side cut out. An employee named Richard Irby said the robber tied him and 3 employees up with zip ties. He said he didn't want to hurt anybody, and we sort of took him at his word, but he's still waving a gun. The scary part, I never looked down the barrel of a gun before. The robber filled a bag with narcotics and left through the back door. Irby knows through other pharmacists the robberies are escalating. Yellow hydrocodone, Soma, and Xanax are the big 3 that most of them are after, Irby said. Irby wonders how long it will be before one of those crooks decides the drugs are worth pulling the trigger. The video ended up becoming extremely popular with over 4 million views and counting.